What is going on, Ive Warriors? So it looks like the Liver King has literally done the ultimate pivot, the most abrasive and most blunt pivot that I have seen in the fitness industry, because the man is now eating cooked meat. Cooked, and it didn't even look medium rare. It looked it looked medium well, or almost well done. Right? He's pivoted to eating meat like everyone else. And what is his, I don't know, what is his excuse on why the pivot is happening? Well, he's starting to say things like the ancestors evolved to cook meat to eat, so that eating was easier and stuff. That's what he is saying that he is doing, right? And he's using, of course, a huge knife, like a huge hunter's knife, to cut the meat so that it looks more in line with, I don't know, hunting, and he's mixing that because they didn't have knives like that back then during the ancestral cavemen times, or wherever he's trying to gain his information from. But they didn't have that. But it looks cool, right? It looks cool because it looks like he's a modern day hunter gatherer person. But yeah, now he's eating fully cooked meals, right? That fully cooked meat. And that was his last video that he posted on TikTok. He's using his gravy. So clearly this is a thing where he's selling his gravy, and he's deciding to pivot because I think he thinks that maybe it's too difficult to keep the shtick going, or he feels that this pivot is enough shock value to get people to start watching again, as obviously his his social media footprint has declined, right? And sometimes when people's social media footprint decline, they'll do something like what he's doing, right? They'll figure out, okay, well, let me go against the grain, right? Because it's shocking to go against the grain, and see if I can get views that way. See if I can get people talking about me like we're talking about him now, that way, right? And sometimes it works, but other times it's really difficult to pull this off because you built an audience behind the premise that you eat raw meat. And he no longer does that. So if he's no longer eating raw meat and you built an audience behind the premise of eating raw meat, it's going to be an uphill climb. Your uniqueness in the space will be diminished, right? Even here, right? Even on this channel, our uniqueness was consistent use of studies, or looking at studies to talk about various different diets. One important one of this channel obviously is intermittent fasting, looking at negative diet and looking at studies that were negative, studies that were positive, looking at stuff like just calorie control, looking at weight training and resistance training and how that works with weight loss. Primarily weight loss focused studies is this channel's thing. And even if this channel isn't where it was before, I'm not pivoting to an absurd amount where I will go against everything that I've ever put up here, because it's always been based off of science anyway. So me going against that would just be me going against science. But with the Liver King, that was his shtick, to be the guy that eats the raw meat. And almost overnight, like as he's aging, as he's physically aging. Keep in mind, this gentleman, I think the Liver King is in his 20s. I could be wrong, because once again, I don't follow him that intently. But I think he's in his 20s, and he looks like he's 78, right? He looks like he's aging very, very quickly. But Let's see how far he takes this. In his video, he's talking about how he can get used to this, which it's crazy to see such a pivot. It's almost like if you were, it's so hard to explain how dramatic of a pivot this is. I think it's one of the most dramatic pivots I've ever seen. Because if you built your channel off of that, it's for him to be the complete opposite of what he built his channel off of is insane to me. But maybe it is just him saying, you know what, screw it. If we're going to go with what the ancestors did and the ancestors evolved to cook meat, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cook meat. And yeah, he's right. They did evolve. They found fire. They evolved to cook meat. And that's what they're doing now. Or that's what they started doing back then. So then he's doing it now, right? But they've been done that. So you should have been eating cooked meat. And your whole stick is that you eat raw meat. Now we're going to have to see how intriguing you really are without that crutch of eating raw meat. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is a net positive for the industry, for the fitness industry, that the Liver King is now eating meat? Or do you think that this is just he's blowing up smoke, or he's just trying to regain an audience, or what have you? Let me know down in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys on Friday.